Worst contracts that are running right now in today's sport, in today's Major League Baseball, right? Mm-hmm. Ranking MLB's worst. There it is. Cody Stavenhagen
I don't even have
writes
to.
it every year.
I didn't even read it. I can tell by the picture who it's going to be.
But
can you tell the top 5?
Number one is obvious.
Number 1 is obvious. I can tell that right for what we're watching. It's going to be Hollywood Anthony Rendon.
Of course.
I mean, that's going to be it. I didn't even look. I saw the article and I tried to click on it. It didn't work, so I didn't even see it. So way to go,
on another planet. But who else do you know that's in here? I want to go through the rankings.
All right, now I see the top 10.
Wait, you see it?
Or the top? Yeah. Now I see.
I wanted you to guess.
Oh, it's too late. Javi Baez would have been on my list.
Yeah, he's number 3.
Because he doesn't play and he doesn't have power anymore.
1, 2, 3 are easy for me.
Chris Bryant, I forgot he even played anymore sometimes because he's not on the field ever.
It's Rendon, Chris Bryant, and Javi Baez in a tier of their own right now.
He didn't play last year. He got hurt. He missed most of the year, remember, with a hip injury, or I think it was a hip injury.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the problem is when he played, he didn't do anything.
No,
he lost his power.
He's broken
the
down.
fact that when I go on Twitter X every time when there's a Tigers game, and there is the meme of, like, the guy setting up 17 feet outside, or like when 50 Cent threw his first pitch and it went over there, and then Javi Baez, they have the Javi Baez swing. It's kind of funny.
Do you know that?
It's also sad because that dude was good, man.
He was good. Do you know his strikeout rate's actually down quite a bit since he joined the Tigers? It was at like 36% with the Cubs, and it's like in the low to mid 20s. He's got no pop anymore. He gets beat by fastballs, which is what he used to feast on. He's just a shell of himself.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's sad.
Okay, so that top 3 is easy. I don't think there's much debate there. I think it starts to get interesting.
After 4. This, the rest of them you can make a serious argument about the rest of them.
Look at him. He's ready. You see Kratz? Go ahead, Kratz. You
ready? He's going to say, Castellanos is worthy because he's on the Phillies.
No, forget that. We'll get to
Giancarlo Stanton, I played with him once, so he's
I'm actually with you here, Kratz. Giancarlo Stanton at number 4, that is offensive.
I mean, you look at who's behind him. I don't think Trout should be as high as he is, but you can't put G up there before. Maybe when Cody comes back on, we'll talk about it sometime. But you can't put Stanton ahead of DeGrom or Bogarts or Rodon's contracts. Like, if this is how you're ranking them, I don't think G can be there. I'm not saying he hasn't totally lived up to it. He hasn't lived up to his contract, but to me, I think those guys are ahead. When you sign these contracts, you almost have Xander. People forget you almost have $300 million into Xander Bogaerts, who I think is an awesome player and a great dude. But that's, G has produced more than that. I get it. He's been hurt, and a lot of this has been based on when he's hurt. But like we just talked about Javi, like when he's out there, he does produce.
Also, playoff ABs matter. And this is not the first time he's done this either, but let's just
good in the postseason.
Laser focus on this past season. Where would the Yankees have been without Giancarlo Stanton just this postseason alone?
And the Marlins are still paying for some of his salaries, so I don't know.
Dominating
Trevor
force.
Story, though, you guys even mentioned him. He's been hurt.
Yeah, it's just a smaller number.
It is a smaller, but still, there's 3 years left. He has barely played, and when he's played, he's struck out so much. I mean, you go to a Red Sox game,
they love him.
They really are trying to get him going.
I agree on the DeGrom
listen,
side.
the Mike Trout one is you had to pay for him when you paid for him, and he wanted to be the highest paid guy at the time. So they gave it to him, right? You can't control the fact he gets hurt. It sucks. I know everyone ages differently, and everyone gets hurt when they age, but DeGrom's not that bad. 5 years, he missed the...
Yeah, but he hasn't pitched yet.
Who?
DeGrom, he's
but
barely
they won a World
pitched.
Series. He did pitch, and they won a World Series year he pitched. So that number, worth it already. Worth it.
I love that.
Worth
I
it.
love
you guys
that
always
argument.
say, well, if they win a World
love
Series, it's all worth it. Boom, Jacob DeGrom. There's your argument.
I love it.
Was it worth it?
That doesn't apply in this situation. This is not Patrick Corbin. Stop. Don't do that. Don't use a legitimate argument in the wrong situation.
Don't use your words against you when they're rightfully used against you.
You can use my words against me, but it doesn't apply in this situation. It's not like Patrick Corbin, who came in through huge, meaningful innings in the World Series in the playoffs, and then the rest of the contract. I get it; it didn't work out. Jacob DeGrom didn't apply. did
they
not
won some
apply
games with him starting. They don't make the playoffs if he doesn't win those games. So it applies.
That's actually a good point because they
he pitched early in the year and they won some games when he pitched.
Barely made it,
and they made the game.
Agree.
They made the playoffs like on the last game of the year. So again, how does it not? It applies.
It's not the same. Not the same when you're talking about
without
a monster
DeGrom. Do they get
contract
Evaldi?
like
Do they get without a DeGrom? Do they get Evaldi? Do they get all the rest of the guys, Scherzer, to agree to come there, and all these other people to agree to come there? Though, if DeGrom's not sitting there,
I mean, Scherzer came there because
it's worth it.
It was a trade deadline.
It was worth it. Now, let's get to Bogaerts. I know for a fact Bogaerts. I love Xander. Great teammate, great dude. He was shocked that he got 11 years, $280 million. He was shocked himself.
Peter Seidler was.
He was shocked. He's like, "Damn, they want to give you that. I'll take it. I'll go there. Who wouldn't?"
Padres owner Peter Seidler was in bad health. He was on his deathbed.
Yes. Well, he wasn't quite there yet, but that's
he was in bad health. He knew that.
He had some health problems.
And I was like, hell yeah, dude. He's a great guy. He wants to win for San Diego, and he's like, I'm gonna try and do my best to buy a championship because it's like, screw it. There's no tomorrow, right? Yeah. Let's go for it. So he saw an opportunity with Bogaerts. He went after He went after Judge too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I the only thing I fault there is, I think they could have offered him like $30 million less and still gotten him.
Yeah. I
just told you the other offers
he was
away.
Shocked when he got offered what he got offered, and he's like, "Oh, hell yeah, I'll take that." Now let's go to the next one. Rodon. Yeah, he pitched pretty good for him at times.
He was pretty good this year.
So that one I don't. And then Nick Castellanos. First of all, that's not a big. That's not a big enough number.
Agreed.
Especially for the Phillies. And what did he do? He was good for him. There's been ups and downs, but when he's good, he's really good. Plus, he's an awesome interview. He's funny as hell. So I kind of also
but he's had a lot of clutch ABs.
He's had big hits in the play. He was great in the playoffs for him. He's the one guy that could hit for him. And against the Mets this year, they had Castellanos.
He gets knocked for his D with the WAR number and all that. They went.
But they knew that when they brought him. They brought him there.
Also, you could DH him. Like, he's okay to DH.
Well, they have a guy named Schwarber.
I understand, but that's just given the state of the.
But what did Dombrowski say? We're going to bash our way through our defensive problems. And that's pretty much what they've done for the last 3 years.
Can I bring up a candidate, for example, that was in this article who didn't crack the top 10, who is a much worse contract than Castellanos, even though I know it's shorter and smaller? They brought up Candelario. I'm like, Candelario was a negative 0.7 WAR player this year with the Reds. Castellanos was a much better bat than Candelario. And I did not like the signing at the time. We all thought that they needed pitching. Obviously, there was a factor to it where they had a dude that got popped for roids and they had to replace him. But still, it was not a good signing. That's a worse contract. That should be number 10, not Castellanos.
Castellanos, he's getting 15 a year. To me.
Candelario, I get it. It's $345. Castellanos is $500. I don't think Phillies fans are looking back being like, what a waste, right?
I agree.
It's 20 a year. Candelario's getting 15. And there's other guys, too, who fit the bill here. So I was getting pretty hot on some of these names. There's 5 to 7 easy ones, but there's a few here that Kratz, I don't think belong.
Couldn't agree more. And I wasn't going right to my Philly homerism, but Castellanos shouldn't be in that top 10. He has, just talking this year, he was one of their most consistent hitters down in the second half. But 2023, he was an all-star. He got MVP votes. Like, I feel like I don't know. Again, we'll have to ask Cody again, but I think there's much worse signings than that. And I should have some substance to say behind that, but I don't right now.
There are a lot of good questions from fans about who qualifies, and I honestly don't know the answer for the article. Like, Avisail Garcia was brought up by Zane. Great answer, but they kind of bought him out because they cut him.
Jose Abreu, shouldn't he be on the list?
Same thing.
He's not even playing.
But they cut him. They bought him out. Steven Strasburg, they bought him out. These are good names, but they're not technically on the roster anymore. So that is my guess for how they're judging these
the history. If you go based on like history of the player and then how the contract turned out, I think obviously Strasburg's going to be up there. You had no idea. Let's put it this way. As somebody that doesn't really know Anthony Rendon, I had no idea Anthony Rendon, it was going to happen what happened. Like that he just has, he had 0 home runs and 200 plus at-bats this year. Like, no way I saw that happening. The way that Javi Baez wants to go out and play, had no idea But to me, you look at the Strasburg contract, and you have to say, this guy's been hurt. He elected not to pitch in the playoffs early in his career, and then he did well, and then you just, bang, re-signed him right away, and he hasn't pitched. DeGrom, same thing, hasn't really pitched. The forethought of that, you had to know that it was a scary contract going into it.
There's some other misses on here. I mean, Jackson keeps saying Machado. Like, you can't do that. What? The dude produces, he plays. That's.
They shouldn't have extended him, but yeah, that's not a bad contract.
Yeah, I can't sign up for that. I'm trying to see any others here that are even worth bringing up. Actually, you know what I'm learning here? Jake Cronenworth's name brought up, but he had a bounce back year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Corbin, but he's gone now. That doesn't qualify anymore. See, a lot of these names actually just graduated. They were either bought out or it's done. Trey Turner's name brought up. I think Trey Turner's a worse contract than Castellanos.
It's longer.
It's way longer.
It's way longer. And listen,
he's a legs guy.
Castellanos is shorter. Castellanos is less AAV. Trey Turner plays a position in the middle of the diamond, and if you talk to Philly fans, I know he went through it and then they cheered him, but there's still a lot of Philly fans that want more out of Trey Turner. He's a hell of a player, but when you sign a deal like that, especially in a place like Philly, they're always going to be wanting more, right, Kratz?
Oh, couldn't have hit it more on the head. I don't know how he can do right other than winning a World Series, because he had that. Yes, they had the standing ovation. Yes, it was a feel-good story. Philly fans feel like now they're soft because they cheered a guy instead of booed him, but it clearly helped him turn it around and became an all-star. But making the errors and striking out are Philly fans' worst nightmares. They hate him, and they never get him out of their mind.
Yeah,
and not stealing enough bases. Let me say that. All they want him to do is when he gets on steal, it's like they have to push him to steal. It's like they have to you have to go. There are times where Philly fans you have to go.
He had his first hamstring this year. You have to remember his first year in Philly, he had that streak where he went crazy. He had 42 straight or something without getting caught.
Yeah.
He had the hammy, and he didn't run as much after that.
Okay. So anyway, if you're watching this after the fact, comment with any others that you think stand out. And also, we do have a show that's dedicated to the Phillies, by the way. Yeah, Charles Barkley was on the show once. Todd Zalecki, Jim Salisbury, Ruben Amaro. It's called The Philly Show. It's part of the FT Network.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.